Now from Kenner's Star Wars collection, it's the Patrol Dewback action figures sold separately.
Let's find the droids, Dewback. Hi, R2.
You can imagine you're a stormtrooper on the Patrol Dewback, searching for R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Look both ways, Dewback.
By moving his tail, you can make Dewback's head turn left and right. You can move his legs, too.
He found us. Good work, Dewback.
The new Star Wars Patrol Dewback from the Star Wars collection. Action figures each sold separately by Kenner.
That was actually kind of a nice commercial, and an interesting one. So they had this Dewback figure with a stormtrooper, which was pretty cool. You know, we hadn't seen any stormtroopers at all, so now it's nice to see one commercial that features a stormtrooper in some way. In this case, with a Dewback. And they also had this cute moment with the kids saying, like, "Look both ways, Dewback." It's like, oh my god, really? They had to do it. No, it's interesting though. You know, it was a nice commercial. It was very sweet. You know, that era had a lot of that, you know, kind of cheesier, but like, you know, sweet, and like, you're not gonna be mean about it. You're just gonna be like, oh, okay. You know, it was nice. I definitely liked the commercial, and it was a nice thing, and they showed C-3PO and R2 and like how they found them or whatever. And if you're not aware, that's also from like Tatooine. It's mainly been Tatooine a lot for the most part. These commercials so far. I know there's gonna be more. I'm believing the next commercial you'll be, for those that are Star Wars fans, you'll be very much so happy to see it on this video. So here we go, guys.
Here's the new Star Wars Death Star space station that you put together. Action figures each sold separately.
Darth Vader's firing a laser cannon. It's been hit. He's after Luke. Take the elevator. Hurry. Now cross the light bridge. You won't escape me. Jump, Luke. Oh, no. The trash compactor. There's a trash monster. The wall's closing. Save.
Kenner's new Star Wars Death Star space station. Action figures each sold separately.
So that was the Star Wars Death Star space station commercial, which was a very cool commercial. You know, that's one of their, that was a big playset for the time. You know, there's plenty of more playsets. The commercial that I originally was hoping to show is actually for Empire Strikes Back, and that will most likely be in the next video. Not the next video, I'm saying. The next, you know, when I get to Empire Strikes Back, which is going to be the next movie that I'll be doing commercials for. And I hope that the content that I have in there has it. Otherwise, I'll have to go back and find that commercial somehow. No big deal. It just might take like a little bit of time. Yeah, no big deal. I was just checking to make sure, like, at what point that was. Okay. So, overall though, good commercial. You know, it showed off even the trash compactor and how Luke can escape. You know, definitely had the Death Star vibe, you know, only from one angle. You know, it wasn't the whole entire, like, you know, spear. It was just from one angle. It had the cannon. It had, you know, obviously the Luke and Darth Vader figures probably come separately, as you may have noticed at the end. Typically when they show the whole entire, like, figures and all that, and they start talking or whatever you see there, and that's true for most toy commercials in general, whatever you see there is what you can expect to get. If you don't see it there, you're not gonna get it. Like, that's typically what they do. Unless it's advertising like an overall thing. In that kind of case, it's like you didn't see Darth Vader in the end. You didn't see Luke, so you know, it mainly just came as its own set rather than you have to buy the figures. Like, they didn't sell you a figure alongside it, even though that would have been nice, but it's fine, and I'm sure plenty of people bought figures anyway. I mean, I guarantee you probably got like a Luke and Darth Vader. I guarantee it, at least, if not more. And you know, that's a set that you could put a lot of figures in it, and you could have a lot of fun. And that's one of the best parts about playsets, is that there's so much you can do, and there's so many different there's so many different ways you can do it. Because, you know, if you have a lot of characters, you can do all sorts of crazy scenes and have your own unique thing going on, and that's what's great about playsets. So really cool commercial, and if you love that playset, believe me when I say this, I have to say it's a great one as well. That's all I can say. So let's keep going.
Let's get out of here, Han Solo. Careful, Luke Skywalker.
Introducing Death Star World. 2 play sets in 1. New from Star Wars Micro Collection line. 14 die-cast figures and action poses included.
Death Star escape has an elevator and a cannon that explodes. Wow! It connects to the Death Star compactor. It's you and me, Ben Kenobi. What's this? Oh, no! The wall! Run for it! Beat it!
Death Star World from Star Wars Micro Collection line. Play sets also sold separately. Figures included. New from Kenner.
So that was actually a really awesome commercial, and it's continuing that theme of the Death Star Space Center, but it actually goes further, and yet it's a smaller set, because that's actually considered like the Star Wars Micro Collection for that time, and yet it actually had more. Yeah, I'm not even joking about that. It actually had a lot more. Now, obviously, one of the big differences is that if you're getting the Micro Collection, you know, you're only going to be able to use the smaller figures, and that really limits a lot of your options. You could use the micro figures on the bigger playset, though they might look ridiculously tiny, but you can fit a whole lot more on the bigger playset. But this one had the compactor and the 2 different sections combined together. It had the compactor, so like Luke falls in and all that, and then it compacts. There was also that, I love that they had the scene with, you know, what do you call it, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. You know, nice. Obviously they would not be like going, like, it was not much actual you know, lightsaber battling. It was a lot more of just dead. Not to say that's not true. It's kind of true. You know, that was about it. But it was a good looking commercial, and if you're a Star Wars fan, I'm sure you might be familiar with this set, and I'll tell you, it's another cool set. And I'm sure people that didn't want to spend as much, but wanted to spend a decent amount, and we're Star Wars fans, I'm sure they bought it, and just people in general probably bought it if you're a Star Wars fan and you really want something cool. That's a nice set. It's a nice set. Yeah. So, let's keep going.
It's Darth Vader! Watch out! And he's got a lightsaber!
It's Kenner's new Star Wars action figures, each sold separately.
I got you now, Ben Kenobi!
With R2-D2 and C-3PO. There's even Chewbacca and Han Solo.
Someone's coming, Chewie. Who's there? It's Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker! Now I know the Force is with us.
Darth Vader, R2-D2, C-3PO, and other Kenner Star Wars action figures, each sold separately.
Okay, so that was just an overall like action figure commercial in general for Kenner. So, you know, it showed off R2-D2, C-3PO, Darth Vader was a big highlight of that, Luke and Leia, Chewbacca. I think they showed off Han for like maybe a second. But overall, you know, I mean, those are like the big characters from the 4th movie, and you know, it was a good commercial, and it just had enough information in it to show you like, oh, these are the figures, and there's more, and you guys can definitely buy these figures, and these figures are cool. I mean, that's about it. That's it in a nutshell. As well as some commentary from the kids in the background, which was fine, you know, perfectly good. So let's keep going, guys.